greatest challenges that affect organizations on this island is simply the funding. Many other jurisdictions, countries, you may have a national funding platform, whether it be through profit from gambling or these other sort of, I guess, quote unquote, syntaxes that provide support for the arts, for theater, for music. And unfortunately, there isn't as much. There is some, but not as much. I think what little resources we do have are well managed, and they're really pushed to institutions to try and really develop as much as they possibly can. But we could do so much more if there was ways in which these programs could be better funded in general. In respect to the greatest opportunities, I would say that is our capital in terms of people. So Bermudians are traditionally very outward looking. I think as a small island, we are forced to look overseas, to look outside ourselves. Many people are educated at the post-secondary level, and you also have a great resource in a lot of overseas people coming through the island. So you have a constant flow and shift of talent and capital there as well. So certainly from an institutional standpoint, volunteerism as an example is a great thing, and you find some really great resources there. But I think primarily Bermudians are all over the world and always coming back home, and they bring with them, I think, really great skill sets.
I think finances is a problem. If there's not enough financial backing, then people can't follow through with recording their celebrations, for instance, where if you record it, it is shared with others in the community. So I think that we do have the opportunity to celebrate our culture, and we can have the financial backing to make it happen. It works well because we enjoy celebrating who we are. Special days like May 24th, that's coming, like Cup Match, Gombe Festival. We enjoy celebrating who we are, but it requires that financial commitment that sometimes fails us.
I think our greatest challenge is also our greatest strength. I think our size is a great strength because you can connect with people that you might want to collaborate with. It gives you access to people working across multiple fields. It provides opportunities for collaboration. I think that is also our greatest challenge. I think being a small community, we have a little bit of, how do I say this? I think sometimes we can underestimate ourselves because of our size, and that can be a challenge when we might think that our work isn't important, but where it definitely is, and it has influence and span outside of our island.
Sometimes organizations and persons and groups, etc., are challenged just by the diversity that exists in Bermuda, in our cultural fabric. And the more dynamic experiences to accept the diversity, and that takes, time, yes, and not just time to think about it, but actually investing time into considering what is diverse and so valuable and to be so treasured and honored in our culture by the various people groups, ethnicities that have come to Bermuda either by choice or the experience that Bermuda had with one of the worst travesties of in human history, which is slavery that has happened on all the inhabited continents, but still it the effect of it is felt, and it is very much felt even in culture. And organizations truly have a tremendous challenge in the sense of engaging on a point where there quite often can be so many breakaway points, rather than sometimes even agreeing on what's really basic to us all, and then finding other platforms for agreement and acceptance.
So I think Bermuda's greatest challenges are entrenched inequities along racial, gender, and economic lines, and negative impacts on our fragile and finite environment. and in terms of opportunities, I think Bermuda's cultural sector has a pivotal role to play in addressing these problems by creating or supporting opportunities for those in greatest need, and by working with the community to protect and promote our natural and cultural heritage. I just think that culture can be a valuable tool for strengthening identity and community and healing generational and personal trauma. I believe that using heritage and culture can help address some of our most pressing social issues and repair some of the deep fractures that divide our community.
The last statistics that I looked at from the US pre-pandemic is that arts and culture typically is like number 7 from a fundraising perspective after, religious, education focused, human services. So I think, coming out of the pandemic, we kind of fall down on that list. And so it's thinking about pulling the community together and really thinking about what that vision for the future looks like, what that funding for these organizations looks like. I think from an opportunity perspective as well, we have a lot of work to do by way of representation, diversity. I always think that the U.S. talks about themselves as a melting pot. All of these different heritage backgrounds, cultures coming together and melting into one pot. Whereas I think Bermuda, we have a core set of values, a core foundation of beliefs, but really we're more of a mosaic. And so it's thinking about how to keep that mosaic, or rather that puzzle and all those pieces rightfully represented. And I think that that's going to be, an incredible opportunity for organizations moving forward, like Masterworks, but it comes down to, what funding we receive and what support we get from the community.